Hey, Doug Cunnington here from Niche Site Project. So I was on a little trip over the last few days. I was back in Atlanta. I'm living in Montana, currently in Bozeman, and I was back in Atlanta for several days, actually 13 days. It was actually a little overwhelming, which I'll talk about in a second, but the sort of cool part is that I went on a trip with a few friends and we were basically like completely off the grid, right? We were in the like North Georgia mountains, they call them, but they're really sort of like foothills. And it was near Helen, Georgia, by the way. So we got a couple people on, by the way. Give me a shout if you're watching. I see Carl, I see Silver. What's up? Good to have you on. And we basically were out on an old Forest Service road where occasionally you could get like a 1x data signal and a little bit of a cell phone service, but it was probably like a 5-minute drive from where we actually set up camp. So the reason why we didn't get like really any services at all is there were like big hills on either side. So we were kind of in a gully near a stream. So we had a really nice spot. We were like sheltered from the wind a little bit, and it was just great. All of us guys sort of we've worked in IT or we're very like connected people and just have our phones, attached to our hand. So like the fact that we couldn't check anything for multiple days, it was kind of great. No notifications were going off. At some point I just like left we stayed in an RV, like a camper. So at some point I just like left my phone inside and didn't even like bring it with me when I was walking around or hanging out outside or cooking or whatever. So it was pretty great. Now I will mention that I was back in Atlanta and trying to visit family. I'm from the Atlanta area, and it was kind of overwhelming just in general being around so many more people. I'm in a town of about 45,000. There are several million in the Atlanta metro area. And, a topic for another day is traffic, but there was a great deal of traffic. And I was trying to go around and see a lot of my family and friends, and it ended up being like quite busy. But I knew that, towards the end of the trip, I would be out sort of camping, sort of away from things, and that was great. So today will be a fairly brief live stream since I was visiting family and stuff. I didn't do too many live streams when I was out. I scheduled some videos, and I will tell you that I have a couple cool videos I'm going to publish. I'll probably publish the first one later on today, but if you've been following me for a little while, you know that I have a course. It's called 5-Figure Niche Site, and I launched it like a month ago. I did sort of behind the scenes, just like vlog style videos of me talking about like what I'm working on, like leading up to the launch. I talk about what I'm doing each of the launch days and just sort of like walk you through the process. I'm not giving out any like launch material or anything like that, but it's just, the reality of like, working for yourself and being, an internet marketer. There's a lot of work. A lot of people tell you it's like super easy and it's really just straightforward, but everything is fairly difficult, and everything even if you are like launching a course for the fifth time or something like that, it's a little bit overwhelming. There's a lot of moving pieces. There's a lot going on. I see Success Roller Coaster on. Good to have you on. What's up? And then Lance, good to have you on. So I am working on getting back into the swing of things. I just got back from my trip on Monday night. So yesterday was quite busy. Today, I'm sort of like ramping back up. And of course, this is a holiday week here in the US. So tomorrow is a holiday. My wife's off of work for Thursday and Friday. So tomorrow and the next day. So, I'm planning on enjoying that time off as well, even though I, had about 2 weeks where I was only working about an hour a day or so. We have Layla on too, what's up? And then Emil, good to have everyone on. So I I did a few I tried to do some video. I tried to do some vlog stuff while I was on my trip. It's there's a lot of pieces of it. I'm not My main focus is not doing the vlog stuff. So I definitely have not made that like a priority. And as I was going through my day, a lot of times if I had like the option to, try and document things and I guess record things so that they were presentable later, I would opt to not do it and just enjoy myself and not worry about documenting stuff and just sort of live in the moment while I was visiting family and friends. So I think that was a good choice. It definitely, took a little stress out. And from my perspective, looking at um I guess working while traveling, it's difficult. Like, especially when you're visiting people or you're in a new place, it's a little difficult to do any sort of like new work. So I had a little bit of a tough time. I mean, I intentionally scheduled very little new work, and a lot of it was, either working with students or maintaining like my email account, right? And just making sure that I was answering the emails in a timely fashion for students, and kind of let my other email address go to waste. So, um, yeah, thanks. Smile is a new day. Appreciate that. So, I'll do a Q&A probably on Friday. We'll see how that goes. Most likely going to do a Q&A on Friday, but if anyone has any questions related to like being off off the grid or disconnecting or anything like that, would be interesting to hear it. Okay, and Carl is asking a question. So you've cloned your site from the UK, and so that isn't really related to the off the grid topic, Carl, obviously, but I'll answer your question. Um, yeah, you should delete your old site, basically. Yeah, you should redirect it, 301 redirect it to the new site, basically. There are different ways to do that, but yeah, basically you'll want to 301 redirect the old site to the new site. So yeah, no worries, Carl. It's just you know, if I answer unrelated questions in depth, people will never find them. So okay, cool. So I encourage you, if you have the ability to, you can emulate this. You you can basically put your phone on airplane mode and chill out for a little while. So it's highly recommended. I'm reading a book right now, where they're talking about like actually getting good work done, and one of the best ways to do it is leave your phone in the other room, disconnect from the internet, and do the work you're trying to do. Now, granted, sometimes you need an internet connection to do the work, and you just have to be disciplined to stay on that specific task. But disconnecting usually is a good idea. So, yeah, Carl, no worries, buddy. Um, Anthony says, "Do I feel the urge to check on your business? How do I handle that internal stress?" I I did. I did have the urge, at some points in time, but once I made it through like the first 30 minutes, of actually the drive out where I still had like an LTE high speed connection, I basically like checked out and I was like uninterested in checking my email in general. Earlier in my like entrepreneurial career, I probably checked on those sort of things and metrics more specifically. But while I was out, one of my sites had like a record amount of traffic. last Sunday, and most likely it'll have a record amount on this coming Friday, being Black Friday. And that was all. I mean, all the work that I've done leading up to taking the time off is what makes that possible. So I know there's basically nothing I could do while I'm out there that would, make a big difference. So I just was present in the moment, and no one had a connection, which is cool when you're having conversations. So it was like three of my buddies. It's cool when you're having conversations because no one can Google anything. We have to talk it out and remember, using our minds, like whatever it is we're debating. So kind of fun. And Silver says, when do I feel it's the right time to take time off? When you feel burned out, or when you get bored or tired of the work? Um, I don't have like a tight answer for that, other than you should take like you should take a break before you feel tired or bored or burned out. And I think for me, right, I go to the gym usually, 5 times a week or something like that. Like, even if it's a kind of a poor week workout, like just going to the gym, I'm better off doing like a 20% workout than like not going to the gym. It's better if I just, show up, stick in the habit and stick with it. So I was actually talking to my wife today. I buy like the gym membership in a 6-month block. It's just like the most economic, um, for me, and it ran out while I was gone, while I was out of town. And I was debating like waiting in a week or two before going back, just to like, you know, work out in my garage, just for a change of pace. But like, it is important for me to take that break, get out of the house, go to the gym. So I'm probably going to go like after lunch and pay for another 6 months. It's an important thing for me. So you should figure out like what you get, um sort of energized from, and then do that. Also, just walking outside. So like this morning, before I started working, I went out and walked for like 45 minutes, and I feel better because of it. Layla says, you don't have a related question. Um, is all in title zero search really good? Yes, generally it is, sure is. Um, and then other Doug is on blue fuse. What's up? And then Anthony, do I have someone monitoring that for you? Which portion, Anthony, as far as the monitoring? And it looks like the questions have slowed down, so I will, call it a day after Anthony clarifies the question here. And like I said, look out, for the video that I'm going to post. It's a series. So when I recorded these behind the scenes, like launch, um, videos, I shot one each day. I started like the day before the launch and went all the way through to the next week. So it's like day 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then day 7, which is like after the launch. Interesting thing is, after the launch, like I was just so amped up, even though this was sort of like the cleanest launch that I had. It was the most organized. I was the I cleared out my schedule so well that I could just focus on like that portion, which I think end up talking about in the videos. But anyway, there are 7 videos total, or 6 videos total, that I go through like my whole mindset, and you can see it as I'm progressing. Sometimes I'm tired, sometimes I have a lot of energy, and that sort of thing. So, okay. And Anthony says, do I have someone monitoring my business for me? No, I mean, I have one person helping me with a little email support, maybe like 30 minutes a day or so, for the course. But other than that, I basically, take care of it myself. I've built it in a way where I don't need to have a staff of like anything full time. It's just a couple freelancers. I'm actually bringing someone on to, help me out a little bit more in another aspect, just so I can, get out of the weeds a little bit. So that'll be really helpful for me. And then Anthony says, do I discuss my business with others that are with you in the off grid or strangers? So when I was off the grid, I was with my friends. So I discussed it to some level, but, only what was relevant. And then with strangers, I would discuss, I mean, I would discuss what I do. Most people have no idea what I do though. So it's very like I actually met someone at a networking event called a 1 Million Cups a couple weeks ago. She knew what I was working on and had interest in doing some similar stuff. So I, talked to her for a little while, and she's interested in it and has like a podcast and some other people she's working with. So she was a stranger until I started talking to her. So now I would say she's a, acquaintance or friend. But yeah, good questions, Anthony. Thanks for asking. And yeah, like I said, I'm just going to keep it brief today. So planning on doing a Q&A on Friday, so keep an eye out for that. I don't have anything in my calendar, so I'm assuming I can set aside a little time to do that. So thanks, everyone. Have a great day. Have a good Thanksgiving if you celebrate that. If not, have a good regular old Thursday tomorrow. See ya.